I mean, from the interactions we had, one of the things I kept asking myself and sometimes asking the developers, are you looking to use the service? How do you envision them using the service? For example, if you have an application that you say will help somebody troubleshoot what kind of disease is affecting the farmer, how do you expect the farmer to be using the phone at that point in time? What is a typical day of a farmer? They wake up, they take their tools of trade, go into the trade. How do they interact with the mobile phone in such a situation? How do you, I think the very important thing for you is to think about the experience journey. How is somebody going to consume the services you're giving to them? It needs to be so simple and so entwined into their lives that they find it almost automatic to use the service. They don't have to think about it, they just start using it because it integrates to their daily lives, to the way they do business. When you do that, it will be much, much easier for you to push your app or for you to push your application or your system. The second thing is, how do they discover that this exists? Something needs to be done for people to know. There is an application called FarmPal that can give me X, Y, and Z. Now, that becomes the very tricky part. When you have, as I think has been mentioned severally here, 101 things that you can do with an application, communication becomes a problem. You need to go with a flagship. You need to say, for example, and this is where M-Pesa became a success, transfer money. Very simple, transfer money. Send money back home. That is everything you can do with M-Pesa. Or say to do everything you could do with M-Pesa. One thing. And it becomes the tagline that you push based on the needs assessment you have carried out in the market. Once people get used to using the service, then you can market everything else that you can do with the application. If you go to a farmer and give him 1 million things he can do with the app, look at it and get bored with the service. It becomes very difficult to move through the different menus, try to get the things that are important to him. Yes, you could have everything, but you need to know how to push it so that it becomes tailored on a certain specific need that is large enough to give you, traction in the marketplace. Lastly, is you must be aware of who it is. Don't shoot blanks. Don't shoot wide. Don't shoot at anything. If you don't aim, you will get somewhere, but you may not get what you want. Just shoot wildly. Yes, you might hit, a crown. You wanted to get the eagle. You must aim. You may miss once or twice, but you learn in the process, and you get it right. So, narrow down your market to a given people. Understand that you must understand that market. So, for example, we had poultry. Was it? I said poultry. You're targeting mid-sized farmers. Who is a typical mid-sized farmer? What do they do? How do they use this service? What is their normal life? If their normal life is, I'm employed in a full-time job somewhere, I've contracted my cousin or employed somebody to look after my, 100 chicken, 200 chicken, then what would be my need? My need is not to, keep running back to the poultry farm to check. My need is probably to just know when certain critical things are happening, for example. Then when you get to understand who your target user is, it will become much easier to tailor a product that you can easily use. The channels via which they use the service is also very important. The technologies are there, very many technologies. What will make the product successful is how easy it is for somebody to use it. So consider which options are easiest for them to use in the context of their day-to-day lives. So if I sit in an office, for example, and that is my secondary job, for example, maybe I have easier use of the web, actual full web. Then you can give me services for actual full web. If I'm a person who has the panga in my hand, a jembe on the other hand. I am limited in what I can do. I don't want to spend too much time keying in information. Maybe USSD is best, maybe not even SMS, and I can get real-time feedback at that point in time, right? So I don't want probably to get into an app, maybe where I am seated, network coverage is not too good, so even the app itself will not be able to communicate to the backend that gives me information. Maybe you should use other channels, and so on and so forth. So there are many facets in developing the business which you need to consider. I think I would propose, and this has been said here, John and your team need to consider it thoroughly. We need to have a way of actually assisting the teams who are working here to have skill sets on both technology and skill sets on business. It doesn't need to be one person who has both. Let's try and get people to work together so that they can build these competencies and be able to see, the services coming up to a given level. Lastly, when we talk with the developers, there seems to be a tendency to want to answer and say, no, yeah, it will work like this. And when you interrogate their eyes, you can see, really, they're just giving you an answer for the sake of the answer. Truly. Some of the feedback you're receiving is not because somebody wants to water down your idea. It's because they can actually see the potential of that idea, and they want to help you to take it to the next level. Take it back in, consider what that means. It may mean changing your model. And I like the guy we met for, I think it must have been Poultry, who has developed a gadget. And he said after interactions with the industry, they have realized maybe the product is not what they thought. So many times, even in person, whatever you have today was not the original product. It was tested in the market for about a year. And people looked at it and said, okay, we need to change what we were thinking. And the product was changed. What went out to the market after a year of testing with people in the market was entirely different. You may have the idea now. Go out, interact with your customers. Get to know what is the actual need. You may end up changing the whole product. And when you do, it will be acceptable. Thank you.